Home tab options. In the home tab, what are the different options we have? What is each option? In the transform tab, what are the different options we have? GUI options, we'll discuss. Add column tab, what are the different GUI options we have? We'll discuss. We'll go each tab wise now. Then view tab, then tools tab, then help tab. First, let me start with home tab options today. Home tab options today. I can open the notepad. I have 7 a.m. notepad. I'll write it here. Today we'll start with home tab options. Fine. So first option you are seeing in the home tab is close and apply. Close and apply. Before we go, let me bring few more tables. Click on new source, click on Excel, sample superstore, click on open. Let's select orders table, people's table, and returns table. Let me go and transform the data. In the people's table, click on use first choice header. In the returns table, click on use first choice header. So first option you are seeing is close and apply, close. 3 options are there. When you expand this close and apply, you find 3 options. Let's talk about them. Apply. First option you will see is close and apply. And under close and apply, first option we'll see is close and apply. Second option we'll see is apply. And third option we'll see is close. When to use which option? When to use which option is important here. When to use close and apply, when to use apply, when to use close. Let's assume I'm doing ETL activities. I bought some tables into Power Query. I'm doing some ETL activities. So totally, just take an example, 50 ETL activities I want to do. 50 ETL activities I want to do. So out of total 50 ETL activities, I have just done some 10 ETL activities now. So out of 50 ETL activities, I have just done 10 ETL activities. I want to do some more ETL activities, right? So remaining 40 ETL activities are there. So meantime, I want to commit my changes to the Power Pivot. I want to see how the data is looking in the Power Pivot. I want to see how the data is looking into the Power Pivot. This 10 ETL changes you have made, right? The data I want to commit it to Power Pivot and I want to see the data. So let's assume I'm converting the customer name to uppercase. I want to convert the customer name to uppercase. Go to the transform, format, click on uppercase. And now I want to commit these changes to Power Pivot. I want to load this ETL change to Power Pivot. To load the ETL change to the Power Pivot, you have close and apply. Close and apply. You have close and apply. Now, when you expand, you will see other options like apply and close also. When you want to click on close and apply. So when you click on close and apply, what happens is it will commit the ETL changes. It will commit the ETL changes and it will close the Power Query software. Look at this. When you click on close and apply, what happens is whatever the ETL changes you made, those changes will be committed to Power Pivot and it will close the Power Query software. And it will close the Power Query software. It will close the Power Query software. Let me write here, guys. When you click on close and apply will commit the ETL changes. Commit ETL changes and close the Power Query software. Close the Power Query software. Power Query software. Look at this. When I click on close and apply, it will close Power Query software and it will apply the ETL changes. I converted the customer name to uppercase, right? Go here, click on close and apply. So the ETL changes will be committed and it will close the Power Query software. Power Query software is no more open now. It is closing. and the ETL changes it is committing to Power Pivot. Look at this. In the orders table, the customer name got converted to uppercase, and now Power Query software is no more open. It will be closed. So I'm not done with all my ETL changes. When you are not done with, so okay, my data is expected, showing as expected here. Now I want to go back and I want to do additional transformations. How to open Power Query again? Go to Home tab, click on Transform Data. When you click on Transform Data, when you have huge tables here, when you have more number of tables here, when you have more number of tables here in the Power Pivot, when I click on Transform Data to open Power Query, it will take few seconds of time. Sometimes it will take 30 seconds of time. Sometimes it will take 40 seconds of time. So you want to wait. So when you click on Transform Data, you loaded some tables, 20 tables, take an example. So when I click on Transform Data to open it, it will take time. To load this, it will take time. Now you have less number of tables, less volumes of data, it doesn't take time. Basically, when you click on Close and Apply, once you close Power Query, in the real time, when you have more number of tables, to open Power Query again, it takes time. Developer need to wait for some time. Right. Now, I'll go and do additional transformations. I want to derive the year from order date. Select the order date, go to add column, go to date, click on year. When you click on year, a year will be derived here. A year will be derived. Now, I want to load these changes. I want to see how it is looking. To load these changes into the Power Pivot, we know one option is close and apply. One option is close and apply. One option is close and apply, guys. When I click on Close and Apply, it will commit the ETL changes and it will close the Power Query software. So when you do that, so I still want to do additional ETL activities. I still want to do additional ETL activities. In this case, Close and Apply is not the best practice. So when you still want to do additional ETL activities, don't go with Close and Apply. Go with Apply. When you go with Apply, it will just commit the ETL changes to Power Pivot, and Power Query software will still open. Why you are still opening Power Query software? I need to perform additional ETL activities. In the meantime, I need to check whether my changes are looking good in the Power Pivot or not. My changes are looking good here or not. For that, you can just go and click on Apply, guys. When I click on Apply, it will just commit the ETL changes. It will not close Power Query software. Look at this. Power Query software is still open. What it is doing? It got committed the ETL changes. You derived year. You got that year here. It got committed the ETL changes to Power Pivot. Power Pivot. Still Power Query is open. Now, when I want to do additional activities, I don't want to go to Home tab. I don't want to click on Transform Data. I don't want to open, wait for 40-50 seconds. I don't want to waste my time. So I can just go here. I can even do additional ETL activities. When I click on Apply, it will just commit the ETL changes. Apply will just commit ETL changes, guys. It will just commit ETL changes. Yes, the last option is close, guys. Close. So when you need to click on close this, so I perform some ETL operation here. Let's take an example. I derived day name column from order date. Day name column from order date. Go to add column, date, name of the day. I derived one. I perform some ETL changes here. Now I don't want to commit the changes to Power Pivot. I just want to close the Power Query software. Whatever the ETL changes I made here, I don't want to commit them to Power Pivot, and I want to close the Power Query software. So without committing the changes, if you want to close the Power Query software, so then you need to go with close, guys. When you click on close, the query editor window will close without committing the changes. Now you made some change. When you go and click on close, it will close the Power Query software. So it will not commit these changes to Power Pivot. It will not apply these changes to Power Pivot. Look at this. When I click on close, it will close the Power Query software, and you don't find that day name column here. Are you seeing here? It is again asking, do you want to apply the changes or discard the changes? So I click on close. My intention is to discard the changes. Just go and click on discard the changes. Discard. When you discard, that ETL step will be removed. It will close the Power Query software, guys. Close will just close the Power Query software. Close the Power Query software without committing the changes, without applying the changes, or without committing the changes. When I click on close, what happens, guys? It will close Power Query software without applying the changes or committing the changes. So keep in mind, so when you are working in the real time, so opening Power Query, you need to wait for a few minutes of time, a few seconds or a few minutes of time. When you have more number of tables, more volumes of data. So when you are doing some ETL operations, if you think that you want to do additional ETL activities, in the meantime, you need to commit the changes. So if you want to just commit the changes, go with apply, guys. Don't go with close and apply. When you go with close and apply, it will even close the software, and you need to open it again. To open it again, it will take time. So if you perform some changes, if you want to just commit those changes, and if you want to still stay in the Power Query, just click on apply. So close. Without committing the changes, if you want to close the Power Query software, go to the close. These are the three options you have, guys. The next one is new source. New source is used to connect to the data sources. What is the purpose of new source? We used a lot of times. New source is used to connect to the data sources. New source is the option which is used to connect to the data sources. Data sources from Power Query. So from Power Query, if you want to connect to the data sources, you need to go and use an option called new source, guys. Right. Tomorrow when you join in one company as a Power BI developer, you don't know where your client is storing the data, guys. So tomorrow, so here I am explaining about how to connect to Excel files, how to connect to SQL Server database, so how to connect to CSV files. I'm explaining here. But tomorrow when you join in the company, they don't provide Excel files, SQL Server, or they don't provide CSV files. It is not mandatory. So your client might store the data in any place. Tomorrow when you join in the company, client give SAP HANA to you. Client is storing where? The data in SAP HANA. So there is no doubt in my course, I don't explain how to connect to SAP HANA, how to bring the data into the Power Query. I don't explain it in my course. Why? Because in the IT field, clients might store their data in any data source. SAP HANA, Teradata, DB2, MySQL. There are a lot of different places where clients can store the data. I cannot sit and I cannot explain about all the data sources. Look at this. When I click on more, these are the different places where client can store the data. They can store the data in the text files or CSV files. They can store the data in the PDF file. They can store the data in the Access database, MySQL database, IBM Netezza, like this Snowflake database. They might store the data in any place. So sitting and discussing about all these data sources will take weeks of time. All right. One thing I will tell you, tomorrow when you join in the company, when your client provided SAP HANA, don't bother about it. Even when they provide SAP HANA, don't bother about it. So even when they tell that some database which you don't even hear about it, sometimes we will not be hearing about that database also. They'll give the data. Look at this. When I click on more, there are a lot of databases here. Look at, there is one database with the name Snowflake. They're given the data in the Snowflake database. You don't want to bother at all. Connecting to the data source is a one-time activity. So when they provide SAP HANA or whatever the data source it is, connecting to the data source is a one-time activity. So once you bring the data, Power Query will treat every data in the same way. Whether you bring the Excel tables, or whether you bring the SQL Server tables, whether you bring the Oracle tables, whether you bring the SAP HANA tables, Power Query options, GUI options will work in the same way. Whatever the source it is, once you bring the tables into the Power Query, the way they work is same, guys. There is no difference at all. There is no difference at all. Only difference where you will find is while connecting to them. From Power Query, with new source, when you connect to the data source, you will find the difference. When you are connecting to the file system, you need to give the file path. In Power Query, from new source, when you connect to SQL Server, you need to give the server name and database name. So from Power Query, if you want to connect to one website, so using new source, you will connect to a website. So when you connect to website, you need to give the website URL. Only the way we connect to the data source is different. But once the data is there in the Power Query, the operations we are going to do is same. And once you load the tables, here also the same. Once you create the visuals, it is same. So it will not differ. Doing the ETL operations will not differ based on the data source. Doing the modeling will not differ based on the data source. Creating the visuals will not differ based on the data source. So that is the reason I'm telling, tomorrow when you join in the company as a Power BI developer, you no need to bother where they are storing the data. Least to bother about it. So we don't know, hundreds of data sources are there. We cannot go and learn all the hundreds of data sources. Tomorrow, if my client is storing the data in SAP HANA, I have not explained how to connect to SAP HANA database, right? What you need to do is just open Google and search for connecting to SAP HANA from Power BI. You just search it. When you search it, you'll find lot of help documents. Microsoft official document is there. Connect to SAP HANA database in Power BI. Right click on it. Open this. When you open this, you'll get a help document. Just follow this help document. So just follow this help document. When you follow this help document, you can successfully connect to SAP HANA and you can bring the tables to Power Query. Once the tables are there in the Power Query, the ETL operations are same. There will be no change with the ETL operations. Yes, true. Now, if you want to connect to a website, I have one website here. I need to connect to one website. So you have one website here, something like this. This website has some tables. When I go here, this website has some tables. When I go here, this website have some tables. Let me remove this. When I go here, you have some tables here. I want to bring the tables which are there here and I want to perform some analysis in Power BI. So if you want to bring the tables from here, if you want to perform some analysis, this time I want to bring the data from website. I want to bring the data from this website. So when you want to bring the data from any source into the Power Query, you need to use which option? New source. When you want to bring the data from file, you need to give the file path and file name from where you need to bring the data. If you want to bring the data from SQL Server, you need to give the server name and database name. So when you want to bring the data from a website, just click on web, guys. From which source you need to bring, click on that source. When I click on website, it will ask from which web URL you need to bring the data. Website URL. Just go here, give the website URL. Just copy this. This is the website URL from where I need to bring the data. Copy this paste it here. Press OK. When I press OK, so just click on connect, guys. Click on connect. No problem. Click on connect. So when I click on connect, it will connect to that website and it will show the list of tables you have in the website. Like this, connecting to the data source is a one-time activity. Tomorrow when you join in any company, whether they give any data source, you don't bother about it. So if you don't know how to connect, just go to the Google and search for it. How to connect to the so-and-so source. Once you search it, so if you want to connect to Oracle, so just go to the Google and search for, I want to connect to Oracle database. Connecting to Oracle database using Power BI. When you search it, so you will find a lot of help documents. Look at this, connecting to an Oracle database with Power BI Desktop. When I click on open, you'll find step by step. Just follow the step by step, guys. Once you follow the step by step, you can easily connect to Oracle database, guys. You can easily connect to Oracle database. Just follow the steps. Now, so look at this. I given the web URL here. It is successfully able to show the tables which are there in this website. And you can go and select the tables there. It is still loading. Let it load, guys. It is taking some time. Let it take. Let it take. Like this, you don't bother about it. When they give any new source, for sure, when you go and join, it will not be always SQL Server. It will not be always Excel files. Sometimes you need to connect to Oracle database. You need to bring the data. You need to perform the analysis. Sometimes you need to connect to SAP HANA. You need to bring the tables. You need to perform the analysis. So connecting to the data source is only different, guys. Once the tables are there from any source, Power Query will treat the tables in the same way. Power Pivot also will treat the same tables in the same way. Power View also will treat the same tables in the same way. You don't need to bother about it. Fine, guys. Right, now you can select what tables you want. Here, what tables you want, you can select it. Once you select the tables, you can just press OK. I just want this one. It has some data. I can just press OK. When I press OK, the table will come to Power Query. The table will come to Power Query. So however you transformed it, I don't want this column. I want to remove it. Select this column, right click on it, remove. And at the end, I have two, if there is any additional columns, you can remove it. Like this, if you want to remove anything which you don't need, you can just remove it. I just want to remove last few rows. There are few rows totals. I don't want them. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. Last 8 rows I want to remove. Go to the Home tab. There is an option called Reduce Rows, remove bottom rows, give the number as 8. I want to remove bottom 8 rows. You just got removed and you can see each state, each country wise statistics here. Like this, the ETL operations you perform is same. Whether you bring the table from website or Excel or SQL Server, the options are same. The options are same. Keep in mind. The next option is, after the new source, recent sources. Recent sources. What is this recent sources is? Let's take an example. My client is storing the data in the SQL Server. I want to bring the tables from SQL Server. If you want to bring the tables from SQL Server to Power BI, click on New Source, click on SQL Server. You need to give the server name and database name. Let me copy the server name and database name here. I have the server name here. I have the server name. I'll take the server. I want to give the database name. If you have, you can give it. Database name is optional. If you know the database, give the database. Directly it will go to the server. It will open the database. I want to bring the data tables from product database. Product database. When I want to bring the tables from product database, select the product database, press OK. When I click on OK, it will open that server. It will show the list of tables you have in that server. You can select what tables you want. I want customer data table. I want product data table. And I want, so for now, Initially, I thought that I just need only customer data table and sales data table. I thought that I don't need product data and time data. So, and whatever the tables I want, I selected them and just press OK. When I press OK, the two tables will come to Power Query. Customer data table, sales data table. And later on, I realized that I need product data table also. Product data table is there, right? I need that product data table also here. When you want to bring the product data table again, what you need to do? You need to click on new source. You need to click on SQL Server. You need to give the server name. You need to give the database name. Every time, you no need to go and give the server name and database name. Only first time you need to give it. Once after the first time, second time when you want to bring the data, you can go to recent sources. Recent sources will store the recently connected data sources connection information. Recently connected to this server, this database. That connection information will store here. So recently connected to website. That website connection information will be stored. Recently connected to sample superstore. The connection information will be stored. Every time you no need to go and give the information there, guys. Now what I can do is click on recent source this time. Click on this. Directly it will open that server. It will open that database. Look at this. I'm not giving the server name and database name this time. Recent sources will store that information and it will give it. Click on customer data table, product data table, and so this time, sorry guys, I already have customer data and sales data. I want product data table. Directly I can select product data table, press OK. When I press OK, it will ask, do you want to go with import or direct query? What is this import? What is this direct query? We'll be discussing in Power Pivot, guys. Wait for a few days. We'll discuss in Power Pivot. Now I'll go with import itself. Press OK. Product data table will come. So every time when you want to connect to the data source, you no need to give the connection information. Only first time give it. From the second time, just go to the recent sources, use it. So what recent sources will do, guys? Recent sources will store the recently connected data sources, will store recently connected data sources connection information. So if whenever you need to connect to the recently connected data sources, just go to the recent sources. In that case, when I go to the recent sources, when I just click on it, I don't want to give the server name and database name. It will directly open it. Right? Just when you go to the recent sources, so if you click on this, directly it will open that server. And it will show the list of database you have in that server. You can expand and you can select what tables you want. You can expand and you can select what tables you want. Right, guys? Next option is enter data. Enter data. Using the enter data option, you can create some intermediate tables. There are some cases where we need to create some intermediate tables. So sometimes I will bring some tables to the sources, from the sources, and to achieve some logic, we need to create some tables by entering the data. I need to create some tables in the Power Query by entering some data. Very rarely you will come across. For some reasons, to achieve some requirement, I need to create one table with some sample data. You can create using enter data. When I hover here, look at this, what it is telling. Create a new table by typing or pasting in new content. You can create a table, click on enter data. Let's take an example. I want to create one table called student table. Just I'm giving an example. I can create a table here. You can give the table name. In the bottom, you can give with what name you need to create the table. And you can go and add the columns. First column I need to have is student ID. Student ID. Second column you can add multiple columns. Insert a column. Student name. And go and click on add. Student name. Email. And mobile. Like this, we can add the columns. How many columns you want in your table, you can add it. And in the columns, we can start adding the data. Student ID is 1001. Student name is Sunil. I can add it, whatever I want. Like this, you can go and add the row. Once you are done with first row, you can go and add the second row. Insert the row, you can go and add the data again. You can add the row, and you can even have options like cut, copy, paste, insert, delete. You can use this. You can use this. You can use these options. If you want to insert some row in the middle, right click on it, insert. You can insert the rows in the middle if you want. Like this, if you want to delete the row, you can select the rows which you don't want with control button. You can right click on it, you can delete it. You can copy the data from Excel, you can paste it here. Let's assume I have some data in the Excel, I can copy, I can paste it here. How can you paste it? There is an option called paste. Right, whenever there is a requirement where you need to create some table, intermediate table, you can go with an option called enter data. When I click on enter data, as soon as you click on enter data, it will open a window called create table window where we can create some intermediate tables. When I press OK, a table will come to Power Query. This table, we are not bringing from any source, guys. We are just creating it in Power Query. We are just creating it in Power Query. We are not bringing it from any source. So this kind of tables, we call it as intermediate tables. Right? So there are some cases where we need to create them. If you want, you can start creating it. If you want, you can start creating it. And it is not showing that here. Why? Because it is showing here, but it is not linked with any other source. It's an intermediate table which we created in Power Query itself, students table. Close this, guys. Next one is data source settings. What is data source settings? What we will do here, let's understand this. Data source settings. Important option. Just concentrate here. What is this data source settings? How this option will help us, I'll explain. Take an example. First time I joined in one company. First time when they joined the company, they mailed some sample file. They mailed some sample file, sample Excel, and they asked me to develop a report. First time they mailed some sample Excel file and they asked me to develop the report. So they mailed me one Excel file, something like this. I'll copy one Excel file here. So they given some sample superstore Excel file. They given some sample file, guys. Sample superstore. Initially, when they given only 100 records. Take an example. They given only 100 records, sample data. They given only 100 records. So, or else they given only 1000 records initially. Let's keep some rows here. So let's take an example, some sample data they given. And we don't have all this data. We don't have remaining all this data. They given just sample data. First time when you join in the company, they might give only sample data to you guys. Sometimes. And they mail that sample data to me. And on that sample data, we'll go and create the report. Let me delete all these rows. I just want first 1000 rows only. Just take an example. They given some sample data to me and I'll connect to that sample file. I'll start my development now. I'll connect to that sample file. This is the sample file which they given. I'll connect to that sample file and I'll start my development. Let's do that now. Or else you can even change it. Sample superstore file. So first at the time of when you join in the company, at the time of starting the project, they might give some sample data. They might ask you to develop that report on that data. So I will just, what I'll do is when they do like that, what I can do is I can bring that sample data and I'll develop the report. I can bring that sample data and I'll develop the report. So instead of using the same report, let me go and use another report. At a time, you can open multiple reports, guys. Leave it about this report. So already in that report, there are a lot of different tables. I don't touch that. I'll go and open one new report now. I'll go and open one new report and I'll use that new report now. When I double click on it, it will open the new report. Let it open. I'll use the new report. So initially when they give the sample file, I'll go to the sample file. I'll bring the data. So when they mail the sample file, I saved that in my desktop and I'm starting the development. So once after saving in the desktop, so when I want to bring the tables, if required, I can go to transform data. I can bring the tables using new source. Click on new source, Excel. It is there in the desktop. Desktop, sample superstore, click on open. So I'm connecting to my desktop a sample file which my client given. I want the orders table. Press OK. I'll bring the orders table here to the Power Query. Once you bring the orders table here, if required, you can go and perform some transformations. In this table, if required, I can go and perform the transformations. Go here, convert customer name to uppercase, any other transformations, I can perform it here. Go to the transform tab, format, click on uppercase. So on this table, whatever the transformations we required, we can do it. Let's assume I have done 20 different transformations here. And then I can load this table to Power Pivot. Click on close and apply. When I click on close and apply, the table will be loaded to Power Pivot case. And I can start creating the visuals. In the Power Pivot, I can start creating the visuals. I can go and start creating the visuals here. Let me create few dummy visuals here. I'll go and show what is the count of orders we have. Total count of orders. When I go here, there is a column called order ID column. Drag it and just convert into count. Change it to what? Count. Total count of orders is 999, guys. So just first row is header. Why 999? First row is header. 1000 you have, right? First row is header. In the first row, you have header, and in the first row you have header, and 990 rows you have. That is the count of orders it is showing. Once it is showing the count of orders, next my client is asking to show what is the quantity we sold. Go here, take another visual, drag the quantity column. Next my client is asking to show what is the sales amount we received. Go to the home, copy the format painter, paste it here. I can take another card visual. I'll show what is the sales amount we received. So these values are from where, guys? From one sample file. So, and then my client is asking to show what is the profit amount we received. I can take another visual. I'll just drag the profit. So the information what you are showing is correct when it considers to sample file, guys. Later on, so I can go and create other visuals like category wise sales, all this category wise sales, drag the tag category, drag the sales, and if required, go and do the formatting. I'll do some basic formatting like stopping the legend, changing the label style to category, data value. So whatever the visuals I want, I can start creating them. I'll take one tree map and I'll show subcategory wise sales, drag the subcategory, drag the sales, do some formatting here like this. Whatever the visuals I want, I can start creating them. Right now, the visuals are showing the data which is from sample file. Later on, my client kept the original file in a shared folder. He kept a original file in the shared folder which contains complete data. In the sample file, you just have some 999 records. And later on, they given the original file which contains 9,994 records are there. Now, the original file is kept somewhere in the shared folder like this. Let's take an example. This is the original file. Here they kept it. In this path, they kept the original file. And from that original file, client is asking to show this data. From the original file, client is asking to show this data. What you want to do? This time, again, we cannot open a new Power BI file. Again, we will not connect to this original file. And again, we will not do all this development. You spend some time to do this development. You will not do that. What you can do is simply you can go and change. When you go to transform data, you have an option called what? Data source settings. In the data source settings, you can change the source file information. So whenever you want to change any source information, you can go to the data source, you can change it. When I click on data source, this is the path from where you are bringing the data now. It is there in my desktop and it is a sample file. Now I don't want to bring the data from this. I want to change this connection. To change this connection, there is an option called what? Change source. Change source. You select this, click on change source. Click on change source. You just need to click on change source and you just want to go and change the path. Now I don't want to bring the data from desktop. I want to bring the data somewhere from here. You can copy this. You can copy this and you can give that path here. You can copy this and you can give that path here. So here I can go and change the path. Now this time it will bring the data from here. Press OK. So the path got changed here. Click on close. When you click on close, when you click on close and apply, the values will completely change here. Look at this. This time it will go and bring the data from original file. Look at this. The statistics are previously 999. You have 9994 now, right? So whenever we need to change source information, where you can change, you can even change it directly from here. Every time you no need to open Power Query. One way, go to Power Query, go to data source settings. Another way, go to transform data. Under that you have an option called data source settings. You can even change it from here. Go here, click on data source settings. So you can go here, click on change source. If you want to bring it from your desktop, just remove this. Just remove all this. Remove all this. You can even remove this one. If you want to bring it from your desktop, you remove. Now I want to bring it from a sample file. You can give the sample file path, press OK, click on close. It will ask, do you want to apply the changes? Click on apply changes. It will go to the sample file and it will bring the data and it will show sample file data. So now I don't want to bring the data from sample file. I want to go and bring the data from original file which is there here. What you need to do? So where you can change it? If you want to change the source connection information, I can go to data source settings. I can change it. Just go to data source settings and select this, click on change source. Here you can change it. Just go and remove this, give this path. This time when I press OK, the path was changed. Click on close. It will ask, do you want to apply the changes? Click on apply. This will go to the original file and it will bring the data from original file. The values are changing here. Make a note. So what is the use of data source settings? Data source settings is used to change source connection information. Source connection information. Whenever we need to change the source connection information, we can change it in data source settings case. Let me close this new file which I am developing here. Just close it, don't save. So when you go to data source settings, you can see what are the different data sources you connected. In this report, I connected to this EMP, DEPT Excel, Sample Superstore Excel, this website and this server. But whatever you need to change, even sometimes you need to change a server name and database name here. So initially when I'm developing, I connected to one server and one database. Later on I realized that I want to change this and I want to connect to some other server. In some other server also I have same tables. I can go here, click on change source. When I click on change source, it will ask to which server you need to connect, which database you need to connect. You can change it and just press OK. You can make the changes like this, guys. The next one is manage parameters. Manage parameters. So we'll discuss about manage parameters. Manage parameters. What is manage parameters? When we will use it? So sometimes better to pass a filter condition or better to pass a source connection using parameter, guys. Using parameter. So let's take an example. I have few tables. In all the tables, I want to load the data from 2017, guys. So there are multiple tables are there. In every table, I have one column called date column. I have date column. And every table contains data from 2010. So every table contains data from 2010. But in every table, I don't want to load data from 2010 till today. I want to load the data from 2017 till today. So that means I want to write filter condition on every table. I just need to go to each table, order date, date column. I want to write a filter condition here. Go here, date filters. So you need to click on after. After, from which date? Is after from which date? You want to select some date. Go on, go to the 2017, January 1st. Is after or equal to. Go with is after or equal to. Starting from 1st January 2017, I want to load the data. When I press OK, it will load only 2017 data. Like this, you need to go to each and every table. How many tables you have, you need to go to each table. So let's take an example. There is one more orders table. I'll bring some dummy table here. I'll bring dummy table. Sample superstore. I'll bring orders table one more time. In this orders table also, I have a date column. I want to go to this orders table also. I want to write the same filter condition here. Date filters is after or equal to. You can give some date. I can go to 2017, January 1st case. January 1st. When I press OK, like this. So I have 10 tables totally. On the 10 tables, I'm writing the filter condition on date column and I'm bringing only 2017 data. So you click on close and apply. You created reports on top of it. You did some analysis. Later on, client is telling that, oh, I said that time 2017. Now I don't want from 2017. I want from 2015. So when he said that he wants from 2015, now what you need to do? You need to go to each and every 10 tables. You can go to each and every 10 tables. You need to change the condition. You need to go here and you need to change the condition here. Filter rows, go and change it. Instead of 2017, they want from where? 2015. Press OK. Now it will give the data from 2015. I need to go to this table. I need to change the filter condition. Go here, give the data as 2015. Press OK. And how many tables? 10 tables you written that filter condition. You need to go to 10 tables and you need to make the changes. You need to make the changes. Instead of that, there is a best way you can deal with is manage parameters, guys. So when you think that the condition will change in the future. So whenever you are using some condition in many tables, when you think that that condition will change in the future, that time, don't go and write the condition directly like this. So let me write here few points. Whenever we are writing some condition in many places, and if you think that the condition will change in the future, if you think that the condition will change in the future, whenever we are writing a condition in many places, and if you think that the condition will change in future, what you need to do is, best way, go and create one parameter use that parameter while writing the condition. So here I'm using one condition in orders table, orders to table, and some other tables also. Same condition. And this time I'm writing that condition is I want only 2017 data from 2017. I written this condition. 10 tables I'm writing this condition. So you need to go to each and every table. You need to write the condition. In the future, client is telling that I don't want the data from 2017. I want the data from 2015. You need to go to each and every table and you need to make the changes. Instead of that, what you can do is, so create one parameter, create a parameter, and to that parameter assign the date. From which date client need the data, assign the date. Client is expecting the data from 2017. Client is expecting the data from 2017. So while creating the data parameter, give the date as 1st January 2017. 1st January 2017. Give the date and use that parameter for filtering the data in this table. In this table, all other 10 tables. All other 10 tables, use that parameter. Use that parameter. In the future, when client is telling that I don't need from 2017, I need from 2015, you no need to go to each individual table. You no need to change the filter condition, guys. Just go to the parameter, change the value in the parameter. When you change the value in the parameter, wherever you are using that parameter, that condition will change. See how simple it is. You don't want to go to 10 different tables. You don't want to change it. Right. Let me show you how to create a parameter. Whenever we are writing a condition in many places, and if you think that the condition will change in the future, so best way is create a parameter and assign some value to the parameter. Assign a value to the parameter and use it. And use it while writing the conditions. While writing the conditions, use it. Create a parameter and assign a value to the parameter and use it while writing the conditions, guys. In that way, it is simple. How to create a parameter is, just go to manage parameters and there will be an option called new parameter. Just you need to go to manage parameters, click on new parameter. When I click on new parameter, I can give the parameter name and I can set some values. I can give the parameter name as date filter parameter. Any name you can give it. If you want to write some description about this parameter, you can write the description. So what is the data type? For now, the data type you given is any. ABC123 means any. I don't want any data type here. It's date. Go and change it to date. And what is the suggested value? There is any value, list of values, and query. We will discuss when to go with any values, when to go with list of values, when to go with query. We'll discuss. For now, go with any value and give the current value. For this parameter, what is the current value? The current value is 01/01/2017. I want the data from 2017. Just press OK. When you press OK, a parameter will be created and you will get some value assigned to that parameter. Now what you need to do is, when you are filtering the data in the original tables, these tables, don't go and use these filters directly. Don't date filters is after or equal to. Don't go and hard code the value here. Just use the parameter which you created. I created the parameter, right? I can start using it. So when you want to give the value, when you want to give the date value, you can give the date value, hard coded value. But I don't want to hard code. I just want to use the parameter here. So there is a parameter. You can select parameter and you can use the parameter. Or else you can even create the parameter from here. So you can even create a new parameter from here. It will allow you to create the second parameter here. I don't want here. I don't want it. I want to use a parameter already created it. Parameter, which parameter I need to use? This date filter parameter. When I press OK, this table will show only 2017 data now. 2017 and after that, I'll go to each table I'll not hard code the values this time. In each table, in the order date, I don't hard code the values here. I can just go and click on after. So I can click on is after or equal to. I don't hard code the values. So this, when you go with the date, you need to give hard coded date. I will pass this from parameter. Which parameter? Date parameter. I have only one parameter created. It is taking. Just press OK. Just press OK. Like this, in all the 10 tables, I'll filter the data from using this parameter. Later on, when my client is telling that I don't want the data from 2017, I want the data from 2015. This time, do you want to go to each table separately here? No need, guys. So do you want to go to orders table separately? Do you want to change the filter condition? Means no need. Do you want to go to orders table? Do you want to change the filter condition? Means no need. Do you want to go to all the 10 tables? Do you want to change the filter condition? Means no need. What you can do, you can just go to the parameter and you can change it. So in the parameter itself, when you go here, you will find some edit parameter option and you can change the value here. I don't want from 2017. I want from 2015. Click on 2015, press OK. The parameter value got changed. Automatically in the orders table, the filter condition got changed. Look at this. Now it is showing 15, 16, 17 data. In the orders 2 table also, the condition will change. Now it is showing 15, 16, 17 data. Right? So whenever there is a requirement, so whenever we are using some filter condition in many places, whenever you are using some condition in many places, and if you think that the condition will change in the future, better to go and create a parameter and assign some value. Do it using parameter. It will save your time. So you can change it. So how to change the parameter value is just go here. Now I want the data from 2014. Go here in the manage parameters. You will find edit parameters. When I click on edit parameters, I can change the value. When I want the values from 2014, just go here, change it to 14, press OK. As soon as you change the value in the parameter, the filter condition in the orders table will change. Go to the orders table now. It will show the 2014 data also. Go to the orders 2 table now. It will even show the 2014 data also. You can change the parameter how many times you want. So this is all about a parameter, guys. So I'll share one video about parameters. Please go through that video. It will even explain some more things. When I click on manage parameters, there are some values. Any value, list of values, query. So when to go with any value, list of values, query, that video will explain you guys. Please go through that video. Please go through that video today. How to create the parameter. Right? So I'll stop here. Anybody have any questions?
This conference is no longer being recorded.